6 months passed like water smoothing stone. Jessica Miller was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Wire fraud, identity theft, forgery across state lines. The judge had been unsparing. 4 victims testified, Daniel among them. He had stood in that courtroom, his voice steady, and described how trust had been weaponized against him. How love had been a disguise for theft. When he finished, Jessica had looked at him with cold eyes. No remorse, only anger at being caught. The debt was restructured through bankruptcy court. Not erased, but manageable. Daniel would be paying for years. But he could breathe. He could plan. He found work at a mid-sized tech firm in San Diego. Quality assurance. Modest salary. Nothing glamorous, but honest work with honest people. The mornings were Maggie's favorite. Daniel woke early now, made coffee. Sometimes he'd have breakfast ready when she came downstairs. Simple gestures, but they meant everything. They talked more, really talked, about his childhood memories, about her years at the hospital, about Richard, the father who'd left, and the wounds that never fully healed. "I understand now," Daniel said one morning over toast. "Why you were protective, why you questioned things. I was scared," Maggie admitted. "Of losing you, of watching you make mistakes I couldn't prevent." "You can't prevent all mistakes, Mom." "I know, but mothers try anyway." He smiled. "Yeah, they do." Some evenings, Frank visited. The 3 of them would sit on the porch, watching the California sunset paint the sky in gold and amber. Frank told old stories from his police days. Daniel talked about his projects at work. Maggie listened, her heart full. "You've done good, sis," Frank said one evening after Daniel went inside. "Saved his life." "He saved himself," Maggie corrected. "I just gave him a place to land. That's more than most people get." She thought about that, about second chances, about the randomness of who received them and who didn't. Daniel started attending a support group for fraud victims. Twice a month. He came back from the first session looking lighter. "It helps," he told Maggie. "Knowing I'm not the only one. That being manipulated doesn't make me weak. It makes you human," she said. "One woman there, her story was almost identical to mine. Different con artist, same pattern. She said something that stuck with me." "What was that?" She said, "They didn't break us. They tried, but we're still here." Maggie reached out, squeezed his hand. "Yes, you are." On a Sunday in April, Daniel brought home paint samples. "I was thinking," he said, spreading them on the kitchen table. "My old room could use updating. New color, maybe some shelves." Maggie looked at the samples. Soft blues, warm grays. "You're staying, then," she said. "Not a question. If that's okay. I'm saving money. Eventually I'll get my own place. But for now, stay as long as you want," Maggie interrupted. "This is your home." Daniel nodded. His eyes were wet. "Thank you." They painted the room together the following weekend. Frank helped. They covered the old beige walls with a peaceful gray-blue. Installed shelves for Daniel's books. And the few possessions he'd managed to salvage from his old life. It looked different, but it felt right. A space that acknowledged the past but looked forward. One evening in late spring, Daniel found Maggie in the garden. She was pruning roses, her movements practiced and sure. "Need help?" he asked. "Always." They worked in comfortable silence. The evening air was cool. Somewhere nearby, a dog barked. Children played in a neighboring yard. "I've been thinking about dating again," Daniel said suddenly. Maggie's hands paused, then continued pruning. "That's good," she said carefully. "I'm terrified," he admitted. "That's normal. What if I can't trust my judgment? What if I make the same mistake?" Maggie set down her shears. Faced her son. "You won't," she said. "Because you're different now. You know what manipulation looks like. You understand the warning signs. But what if?" "Daniel," her voice was firm but gentle. "You can't let Jessica steal your future too. She took enough. Don't give her more." He absorbed this, nodded slowly. "Go slow," Maggie added. "Trust your instincts. And this time, maybe listen to your mother once in a while." He laughed. Real laughter. "I promise. That's all I ask." On the anniversary of the day, Daniel knocked on her door 1 year exactly. Maggie made his favorite dinner. Pot roast with carrots and potatoes. The smell filled the house. Daniel came home from work and stopped in the doorway. "You remembered," he said. "Of course." They ate together. Talked about small things, his project at work, her book club, the neighbor's new puppy. After dinner, Daniel pulled out an envelope. "I got something for you," he said. Inside was a card, homemade, his handwriting across the front, "Thank you." Inside, he'd written, "1 year ago, I came to your door broken and afraid. You could have turned me away. You had every right to. Instead, you opened your home and your heart. You fought for me when I couldn't fight for myself. You reminded me that love doesn't give up. Thank you for being the strongest person I know. Thank you for being my mother. I love you, Daniel." Maggie read it twice, then set it down carefully before the tears blurred her vision completely. "Oh, sweetheart," she whispered. Daniel moved to her side, hugged her as she cried. "I mean every word," he said. "I know." They held each other as the kitchen windows darkened and the evening settled in. Later, on the porch, they sat together watching the stars emerge. "Do you have regrets?" Daniel asked, "about how things worked out?" Maggie considered. "I regret the 5 years we lost. I regret that Jessica hurt you. But I don't regret where we are now." "Me neither," he said quietly. "Isn't that strange? After everything, the debt, the betrayal, the fear, I'm actually grateful. It brought me back to you." Maggie smiled in the darkness. "That's not strange at all." A breeze stirred the roses. The scent drifted toward them, sweet and familiar. "What's next for you?" Maggie asked. "Keep working. Keep healing. Maybe take a class. Reconnect with old friends." He paused. "Build a life that's actually mine this time." "That sounds perfect. What about you, Mom? What's next?" Maggie thought about the question. For so long, her life had been about survival. Raising Daniel alone, working endless shifts, then retirement and solitude, then crisis and protection. But now? "This," she said simply. "Mornings with you, my garden, Frank's visits. It's enough." "It's more than enough," Daniel said. "It's everything." They sat in comfortable silence. The night deepened around them. Inside, the house glowed warm with light. Margaret Johnson had spent decades caring for others. Patients in hospital beds, a son growing up, and when that son returned broken, she had fought for him one more time. She had been right to worry about Jessica, but being right mattered less than being there. Being steady, being home. Daniel would carry scars. The debt would follow him for years. Trust would come harder now. But he was alive. He was safe. He was hers again. And that was worth everything. "I love you, Mom," Daniel said softly. "I love you too, son." The stars wheeled overhead. The world continued its turning. And in a small house on the outskirts of San Diego, a mother and son sat together, bound by blood and choice and the unbreakable thread of second chances. Some bonds, once broken, never fully mend. But others forged in fire, tested by time, strengthened through forgiveness, emerge stronger than before. This was one of those bonds. And it would hold.